We are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It is currently 8 a.m. like normal. It is 66 degrees out right now, so it is nice. It was warm out this morning at 4 a.m. It's still warm out now. It's going to be a little windy today, so if you got some allergies and sinus issues, that's probably going to be affecting you quite a bit because of all the pollen and saplings in the air with this spring weather. So just be advised you might want to take some Claritin, keep some Claritin on you, or some like nasal spray. But yeah, no, it's a beautiful day out right now, so enjoy this weather. Make sure you go get a good work day in. Go to the gym, get a good workout in, and spend some time with your family outdoors and enjoy this fantastic weather today because it is the weather for it. Traffic conditions currently are slow, man. It is bad right over there right now, over there by 67th Street entrance ramp. So if you're commuting into Tulsa right now, it's going to be pretty rough. Pretty rough indeed. But I imagine it should clear up here in just a bit. It's not backed up as far as it was just a little while ago because it was standstill even back here by the YMCA not too long ago. So just keep that in mind. If you want to reroute, go 75 or go down the, we call it the airport way, I guess Mingo.
It's Mingo.
Right? So
You're right.
go the Mingo way into Tulsa. It might be a little faster, or at least if not faster, you'll be able to avoid traffic conditions. So keep that in mind as you plan your trip. Do so accordingly. Now, upcoming local events. What's going on, Chad?
I will let you know. Okay, we have got a whole bunch of stuff going on regarding Owassoisms, but we'll start with the chamber. The chamber only has an ambassador meeting this week, and that is the 18th, which is this Thursday. And so, anybody that's interested in becoming an ambassador, you have to be brought in by a fellow ambassador, and they'll introduce you, and then they have a vote on you. But that ambassador lunch will be at Ascension St. John at 12 p.m.
Interesting.
And that's it on the Chamber of Commerce this week. Now, as for Owassoisms, I've got a lot of Owassoisms. We've got the Eras Tour, Art Tour 2024, which is at the high school. Dive into creativity at the Owasso High School Art Department. So I'm assuming this is probably something
The high
put on
school
by
thing.
the students. I'm clicking on it now to get some more info on it. Pretty browse stunning pieces that benefit our amazing art department. So it's kind of just a fundraiser for the art department. If if you want to help support the school, at least on Owasso, the Owasso High School anyway, you can check that out. That's really it on that, and that's the 16th. So that's tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Okay.
Then we've got Bunko for a Cause again on the 16th, and that's at 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
at the Owasso High School, surprisingly.
Oh, cool.
Mills Elementary 4th and 5th grade recorder concert. So, recorders.
Yeah, hot cross buns.
That's at 7 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. And, of course, that will be at Mills, I would assume. Then more on tomorrow. We have the Eras tour for the Owasso Art Department again. So basically, that's kind of
it's a multi-day.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they're trying to raise as much money as they can.
All day on the 17th, all day on the 18th again, same thing.
So
all day on the 19th.
Open house at the high school, I guess.
Pretty much. Next big thing that comes up is on the 19th is the Missions Center, the Mission Center Golf Tournament fundraiser, and that's at the Bailey Ranch Golf Course. So that'll be at 7:30 a.m. So anybody who wants to go out and participate in the tournament and support the mission, you're good to go. The art thing again for the Owasso on the 20th. A 5K run event. It says Run to the Beat, and that's at the Owasso High School.
Yeah, I think that's for the band or something. It's like a band fundraiser.
I think so. I'm checking on it right now. Fun run. Let's see here. We invite you to the surrounding area of Owasso, the oldest 5K fun run. This Saturday, April 20th, we have walkers and runners, young and old, novice and experts, running to the beat of the Owasso drum line. So you're right, it is for the drum.
That's what I figured.
And then registration and link is right there in the thing, and it's at www.owassobands.com//run 5K.
Cool. So if you want to support the Owasso band, go sign up for that fun run.
$35 entry fee. So if you want to run and support the band, go check it out.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I imagine the whole Owasso's entire track team will be there running it because they go to everything to go practice and get better. So,
Yep. And then again, 21st, which is my last day because that's
mhm.
Sunday. The Era's art department tour
Again,
again.
so
So
just
it's
lots
just
of
that's just happening pretty much even partially into next week by the looks of it. So that art thing is just going on. So if you
yeah.
want to go support that all day at the Owasso High School.
Hmm. Awesome. All
And
right.
that's it for the chamber and for Owassoism. So we can go on and move on to our big news category stuff now.
Okay, so not a particularly good weekend for Australia specifically. So Australia had that big shooting. What was it? It wasn't not. I want to say Christchurch, but that's not right. Some town in Australia had the largest shooting at that time in the 90s, and they banned all guns. Well, it looks like Australia's gonna have to go and follow London in their future bannings because it sounds like they're going to be banning all knives real soon. So over the weekend, it looks like a man by the name of Joel Kachi, who was he was on the radar, like he was a known person who had mental health issues. He lived in some type of residential, maybe like mental health facility or some type of like, I don't know, much like a residential asylum area for like
Yeah, some type
local
of
nutcases.
yeah, some type of place where you can't really leave, or he's being watched or monitored basically.
So
It's different there. They call it different stuff than they do here. So
yeah, they have different words out there in the outback.
hmm
But it looks like he got a knife. And so I guess the big motivating factor is he was a single guy, very lonely, wanted a girlfriend, but just didn't have because of his mental illness, just didn't have the mental wherewithal or fortitude to attract. He didn't have any of the markers that women look for in attractiveness. I mean, wasn't a bad looking dude. He just, again, confidence and charisma as well as success are the attraction factors that women look for. You could be not that good in the looks department if you're charismatic and you're successful. And successful meaning, success is measured by how much money you make, essentially. So if you're successful, you can capitalize off of your skills. Boom, women are going to find you attractive. So that's the reason you have a big house, why you have a fancy car. Those are attraction markers for women.
hmm
So this guy he was a lonely single dude. I'm sure the way a lot of the people would describe him, he's like an incel type, involuntarily celibate. But again, you got to feel bad. The guy had mental health issues, and these people want to have lives just like us. And, again, social media, you look at other people who look like they're living the dream, and you just go out there and you just envy. Envy is such a corrosive sin. It's the worst sin of all, in my opinion, because you just want everything. You see what other people. We're all guilty of it. I mean, get on Instagram and just like again look at wealthier people. You get that envy, and you're just like, ugh, I should have that. I want that. But don't let it get to you. You need to let that kind of envy motivate you to the point where you go, yeah, I'm gonna go out there and succeed and do well in life, and don't let it destroy you from within. But this guy clearly suffered with mental health issues. So he targeted women specifically. So he went out and he stabbed 12 people. The majority of them were women, and I think he stabbed one guy. So of the 12 people he stabbed, 7 died. He stabbed a baby as well. And a horrible, gut-wrenching part of this thing is he stabbed that mom and her baby, very young mother too. And the last thing the mom did was literally just hand her baby off to a stranger before she just crumpled to the ground and died. And mind you, the baby's stabbed too.
And it's in critical
It's in
condition
critical
in the
condition right
hospital
now.
bill.
So, again, the truth of the matter is, an armed society is a polite society. All Australia did was leave these people defenseless. I mean, a police officer finally showed up after 12 people had been stabbed. But at the end of the day, until a government authority figure shows up, you are at the mercy of deranged people.
Until a good guy with a gun showed up to stop the situation.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, people, it's very simple. an armed society is a polite society. If a criminal's walking around in a state like ours, Oklahoma, walks around and goes, there's a really good chance that there's somebody carrying a concealed weapon around here. I'm not going to take my chances. Unless he is literally on the edge of his ropes and just goes, I don't care, it's over, I'm ready to go, and I'm going to take as many with me as I can. And if they've already got to that point, it doesn't matter. You better have a weapon with you because your time is done. I mean, I've had this conversation multiple times with multiple people. I remember whenever y'all remember the Batman movie theater shooting back when the Dark Knight Rises came out.
Yep, he cased out like 4 other different theaters.
What the media didn't tell you was he cased, again, what Chad was saying, 3 different movie theaters, and guess which one he chose?
The one that had the "No Guns Allowed" sticker on the window.
Boom. That's the one he chose for that specific reason. It was in Denver, Colorado. Or maybe not Denver, but it was in Colorado.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what we're talking about here. All these laws do, all gun control does, is disarm the citizens, keep the criminals armed, and even if they're not criminals, like this guy, a mental health patient, it gives them the ability to do this unchallenged, unmolested by the good people. I'm sure that guy that got stabbed was attempting to help out, but he was carrying a really big knife, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can only do so much, and a knife's easier to wield and whip around. I mean, like, at least with if you're using a handgun, eventually you're going to run out of bullets and you got to reload. And I imagine most of these people who do that don't know how to do quick reloads. It's make sure everything's working properly. But at least during that reload, it gives some people some time to make some moves. A knife, you're just stab, move on, stab, move on. And it's easier to conceal, too. Like, when somebody has a knife, it's like you could stab them, stab somebody, conceal it, walk on to the next person. A lot of people won't even know they're injured. For a little bit, they'll be like, what just happened?
From what I've seen in some of the footage is like people just kind of staring at him. Because he's carrying the knife out in the open. People are just kind of just staring at him in disbelief, just letting him go by.
Yeah, we live in such a safe society. Like, I mean, look, again, Australia. They don't have guns in Australia. They're not allowed to own guns in Australia. So they're watching this guy walk around, and we live in such a safe society that people are like, well, that's really weird. This guy's walking around with a knife, and then when he starts stabbing people, they don't even know how to react. They're so shocked by the initial violence of it that people freeze, and you would be shocked. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in a fight with people who've never been prepared to be in a fight before, but people freeze. I remember a fight that I was in one time. I'm literally holding a guy that has no clue what to do when I'm holding him. Like, I've got him in a chokehold, and he's just limp, and he's just like, I didn't expect this was going to happen. I just assumed I was going to be able to talk crap and smack and not have any repercussions for this. And it makes you, as the person who's he pushed me over the edge, and I'm sitting there holding this person, they just have no clue. They just thought it was just going to be fun and games, and they were just going to trash talk the whole time. So that's what you have. We have such a safe society. People are so conditioned to safety, and that violence is so shocking. Now, it's nice that we can live in societies like that here in the West. But if you're not prepared for whenever bad things happen, you are going to be a statistic. You're going to be a victim. And that's why I'm glad we live in this country where we're allowed to own firearms. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, I'm glad we live in a country and a society where we're allowed to own firearms and be able to defend ourselves against potential threats.
Yeah. Well, it's even the other part too. Is like, imagine if because it was a female police officer that shot and killed a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've all seen the videos where a female officer has to wrestle a male suspect, and it does not
go
over well. Could you imagine if this is like if they were like the British police and not allowed to carry guns?
Yeah, I just got my
She
baton.
would literally just be fighting him off with, like you said, a baton and waiting on backup. Yeah. And he would still be being a full threat at that point.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, too, is she'd have to be able to catch him, too. If he just took off running and was stabbing people through a crowded area, it's like stab, stab, just running, stab, stab. There's no reload time with the knife. So, sad day for Australia. And going to be eye-opening for a lot of people when they realize that, yeah, you disarmed your society. And now people are just at the mercy of whoever's the strongest person around them. Yep. I mean, that's what happens when we have something like the miracle of modern firearms. You've leveled the playing field between men and women. You've leveled the playing field between the strong and the weak.
Yep.
The big and the small.
Yep. Said the crippled and the non-crippled.
Yeah. All you got to do is know how to use and manipulate a firearm in a proper way, and you have won every conflict you've ever come into. It is the great equalizer. So that if you have an abusive partner, ex-husband, and they know that you're carrying, they're going to be a lot less. They're going to be a lot more hesitant to be an abusive ex-partner or an abusive partner in general. This is just the truth. Because again, without firearms, without some form of weapon, the strongest person in the room is the leader. Period. Just
not
how
wrong.
it is. Or the craziest person in the room.
Yeah, not wrong.
The one who's willing to do violence and harm.
Yep. Person willing to take control of that situation, which can be the most violent person a lot of times.
So again, 12 people stabbed, 7 dead, 1 baby stabbed. Mother's dying act, handing her baby off to a stranger before she just falls over and dies.
One single person with a concealed and carry firearms in that could have easily got that number down.
Yeah, I mean, one person with a firearm did end the situation in the threat.
Yep.
But again, only after 7 or 12 people got injured.
Yeah, the police, what's the saying is the police show up to clean the mess.
Yeah,
they're not
the
there
police do not stop crime. They come and pick up the mess. I mean, can police be crime preventers? Their presence in an area can prevent crime. Yes. But
criminals don't generally go to areas where police are. They go to areas where police are not.
Exactly. Said all you're doing is you're putting your safety in somebody else's hands if you give that authority to the government. It's like, well, now we have to wait for the police. Mm-hmm. In states like New York and New Jersey, guess what? You have a duty to flee, even in your own home. Like, where do I go? I'm in my safe place. My home is my safe place. Not in this state. You better crawl out a window and just run down the street going, help, 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 police. Insane. So I'm glad we don't live in Australia where you're at the mercy of the government and you're at the mercy of the craziest person
in the room.
Mm-hmm. So our hearts go out to those 7 people that lost their lives. We hope that baby pulls through. Our condolences to the husband who just lost his wife and is going to be a single dad. It's really terrible, but it makes you appreciate the Second Amendment here in this society. It makes you appreciate the things that we have here, because apparently it's not a gun violence issue. It's always been a mental health issue. And even then, to me, a lot of this mental health stuff is getting blown out of proportion. It's just like some people choose to do bad things. And you have to be willing to accept that there are bad people in society and that you're going to have to defend yourself and your family from them. But yeah, sad day for Australia.
Yep.
I mean, again, are they going to ban knives now? Like they're trying to do in London? Said one of my favorite reply tweets to the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, was, nobody needs a knife in London. And then, I'm going to be a little crass here, but the top comment back to it was, yes, that's right, Sadiq. Who needs a knife? Because I'll just butter my toast with my junk. Like, that's what he said. He said the D word, but, male appendage. He was like, yes, Sadiq, I'll butter my toast with my junk. Great line. Great tweet. But yeah, I mean, that is whatever town in Australia is probably going to propose. Because
Guaranteed.
They have really backwards thoughts on how society works. I mean, they'll be like, nothing sharper than a butter knife. If you want steak, too bad.
Yeah. Let's just ban all mean things.
Mm-hmm. Ban forks, ban pens, pencils. We'll just be using... but that's where society's going. ban anything that could be a pseudo-dangerous object.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're already banning finger guns in schools here in the States. Bang, bang, bang. Kid ate a Pop-Tart, made it look like a gun. Got kicked out of school for that. That goes to show you how ridiculous this is getting. But we'll move on past this. We'll get away from the Australia and the sadness that is that tragedy over there. We'll move on to crazy people here in the States. So, again, we all know the Israel, Palestine, Hamas situation it's just a powder keg, and people have very strong opinions on absolutely everything, even though people are super uneducated about them. Even myself, I'm no expert. But with that being said, Iran fired a bunch of missiles and drones, and Israel's what do they call it, defense system of theirs,
Their
dome,
the dome, yeah,
yeah,
the Iron Dome,
the Iron Dome, their missile system, engaged all of them and took them all out before anything was done. So obviously the conflict is escalating, and more Islamic countries are getting involved, which is scary and terrifying. But again, now we just have nut jobs here. That was less of the point of what I was talking about. But we have nut jobs here in the States, and there was an Indian girl, like not Feather, like Dot Indian from India. I think her name was Patel or something like that. And she was giving a speech at a town hall in Bakersfield. And she goes, if you don't care, like it was a speech more than it was a request.
Yes.
But she was just, grandstanding, and she was basically saying that none of you care about violence, none of you care about anything, and if you don't pass these resolutions that we want passed and just want to protect the people of Gaza, we'll come to your homes and do worse to you because we're revolutionaries. And I mean, they cut her off and said the police need to escort her out because I said we were going to come to your home and we're going to do worse to you because we are revolutionaries. I mean, these people are nuts. We have some nut job pro-Palestinian, pro-Gaza, pro-Hamas people in this country. And the majority of them are just these crazy women who, again, know very little about this conflict. Know very little about the religion of Islam, know very little about the religion of Judaism, or know very little of the history of that region. They just know what they've seen on social media. And this is why, again, Hamas and Palestine and all these Islamic countries, they weaponize the social media algorithms in their favor so well. People who have no stake in this game care so much about a conflict that has nothing to do with them. It's really crazy. Like, why would an Indian woman care about what's going on in Israel and Palestine? Like, that country, our country, should be so far removed from this. Just be like, look, we have two groups of people that really dislike each other. One group, in their charter, their founding charter of their country, goes, yes, no Jews. We don't want any Jews around here ever. I mean, in the Quran itself, it says they won't be happy until every rock and every tree shouts to the skies, come get me, there's a Jew hiding behind me. The kind of crazy, I mean, that is some wild stuff. I mean, imagine if there anywhere in the Bible it said that about if it said it about Jews or it said it about Muslims. That'd be crazy. We would not be a religion if that was a thing. They'd be like, yeah, this is indicative of Christianity. But there are religions that have stuff like that in that they go, oh, this is a beautiful religion and a beautiful culture, and we have to respect it. Scary stuff. But yeah, you have people like this chick threatening violence to her own community members, being like, pass this resolution or we'll hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know if you have any of that pulled up or whatnot.
I did have the video pulled up, but I think we'll get in trouble if we play it, so I'm going to hold off because she straight up says she calls for the murder of the people on the council.
Yeah, I put it pretty nice, but
yeah, she straight up calls for them. She goes, we are revolutionaries, we will end you. And you're just like, good Lord, this lady lives here.
Yeah, she's somebody who lives in the States. It's like, why can't you get this fired up about what's going on at the border? Why can't you get this fired up about the government overtaxing us? Why can't you get this fired up about inflation going up like 40% in the last 10 years? Excuse me, last 4 years. But yeah, they get fired up about this conflict between two people 3,000, 4,000 miles away.
That's been going on
for years.
Said not since just the founding of the nation of Israel. We
Yeah.
can go on and say that these conflicts have been going on back to well past the Crusade
The Jews
days.
and the Muslims and even the Christians have been kicked out of the Holy Land dozens of times throughout history. So it's just wild to me. And again, an Indian, someone whose religion is probably Hinduism.
Yeah.
Like, what stake do you have in that game? Again, this is the weaponization of the algorithms in social media. Like, just boom, 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 pro-Palestinian stuff everywhere. Every single one of the things that pop up on my YouTube channel now is my brothers of Islam, send food and aid and money to Palestine. And please don't do that, because all you're doing is sending money to Hamas to build more rockets and build more infrastructure to conduct terrorism and terrorist attacks on Israel. That's where that money goes.
Yep. Said according to this right here, I just pulled this up on Google. According to the census, and the last one looks like it was back in 2011, but about just shy of 80% of the population in India is 80% is Hindu.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, highest one, is 14, almost 15% with Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2% Christians, and then Sikhs make up, which is weird because Sikhs kind of what I always kind of associated with India.
Yeah.
Is only like barely 1.7%.
Yeah, I swear everybody who was from India that was in the army is Sikh.
Yep.
Yeah.
You would think.
So odd. Yeah, but I mean, I guess they just don't do a good job evangelizing.
Yeah, evangelizing. yeah. You have to bring other people into the fold.
Yeah. So that's what's going on over here in the United States. So how interesting is that? Just craziness for conflicts that we really don't need to be overly involved in or invested into. So wild stuff, folks. And then the last thing, and we'll keep this one short, is MSNBC did an online panel where they asked Biden voters whether or not they would be saddling back up and staying on, if they were going to be riding with Biden again. And the vast majority of them that they interviewed on this MSNBC online panel said they're jumping ship and they're voting for Trump. So that's cool. That's real cool. So
I've got that video pulled up real quick. I'll just keep it short. It's just like literally, it's all the people. To preface this, because I don't want to play the whole thing, because it's a long, like 10-minute segment. Yeah. But on the segment, they have people who all have said that they voted for Biden in the last election, and they bring them on to interview them, talk about, what are your thoughts now? Are you going to vote for Biden again? And none of them do it, but I'll go ahead and let it say, who's voting for Trump this time? And I'll just show you this.
Show it. Go for it.
Pull it up real quick. And get my earbuds in real quick so that way I can hear it as well. Sound. We're good.
Through the whole group.
I want to show two more. The undecided voters were also asked how they think President Biden is doing on the economy. Take a listen.
I think he's been absolutely disastrous for the economy.
I agree.
Raise your hand if you think President Trump's policies on the economy would be better for your family personally. Raise your hand. All right, so that is everybody. President Biden argues that his economic record has been very good. He said President Trump's was not as good. What are you keying off of, Sean? Since you had the best smile, and Virginia had the second best smile. What are you keying off of to say President Trump's economic policies would be better for you?
My past performance of my 401k. I know it was post 2020 and everything kind of flipped around, but you can't blame everything on 2020 for forever.
We have areas here in Pennsylvania where it's just at a standstill right now. Like, things are supposed to be being built and the interest rates are just way too high for people to invest and start moving around.
And Virginia, just staying with you because Pennsylvania is near and dear to Joe Biden's heart. Are there Biden policies that you would blame for the problem? And if so, what are they?
The interest rate is so high right now, and I know they're trying to cut the inflation down, but like if nobody is building, no businesses are really coming to Pennsylvania right now to keep us moving forward.
Even if you're trying to buy a house, because I'm trying to become a first-time home buyer, the prices are so high right now. It's just hard.
Is there anything Joe Biden could do or say between now and the time you vote that would make you feel differently about feeling that his policies would not be as good for your family on the economy? Or are you pretty much decided that Trump's policies would be better?
Oh man, it's just bad. Like they at one point they straight up hang on one second. They straight up like look at him and was like, do you think that Biden says his economic policies are doing good? And the whole panel laughs. Laughs. Like
Good. Are they old people?
I mean, it's old. It's mid people and the age range looks easily between 30s, said mid 30s to I would say 60s.
Good deal.
But yeah, it was a pretty mixed panel.
Yeah, so at least people are not blind to the issues we're suffering here in the United States. So again, guys, gas is almost up to like what, $3.25?
Yeah, it's $3.26. Said it was $3.29 I think at one point earlier this week.
There you go. So $3.29. I can't get out of the grocery store for under $100 anymore, and I just buy like eggs and milk
and some cleaning supplies.
Some cleaning supplies, maybe a little bit of meat, but I can't get out under $100 for that minimal of stuff. Craziness. It's our wallets that are going to be the primary thing that we vote with at the end of the day. This is why I think the election day should be the day after taxes are due, because that would radically change people's voting habits. Even if you're not a business owner. So that's about all we've got for you today, folks. A little bit on the low end of morale, but I ended on a high note with people jumping off the Biden bandwagon. Yeah. They're not riding with Biden anymore. They're jumping on the Trump train.
I'll end on a little bit of a positive note here. The OKC Thunder won against the Dallas Mavericks yesterday, and that ends our conference play, and the standings are we are back in first, but although I would say we're technically tied with the Nuggets, the Timberwolves fell back down, lost a game, but we are tied with the Nuggets, but the Nuggets kind of had a loss not too long ago, and we're on a 5-win streak right now. Nice. So that's the only reason I think that we stuck above.
Good deal.
On the first, at least being in the rankings anyway, but we're basically tied with the Nuggets for first place in our conference right now.
Awesome. Let's go Thunder.
So now we're moving into the playoffs at this point. So we got a playoff slot, and we'll be in there. So hopefully our Thunder can come out with the W, bring home the title for once.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. That's about all that we've got for you. This is the Twins with the Owasso Live, and this was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us grow as a channel and helps us, again, spread the news to the community and build a better community for us and for you. So again, we are signing off. God bless y'all. Have a wonderful day.
See you later, everybody.